Acer Predator, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard.
They might be made in Brazil, but they are forged on Inferno as they open up the game with a lovely win there versus NRG, meaning we will be going on to the second map, Cash, in this best of 3 bet.
Yeah, it's a very one-sided game, although 16-10 might not sound as one-sided as most people would think, but on Inferno, typically rounds tend to be quite close, right? That's a given. You set yourself up to have rounds be 2v1, 2v2. But ultimately, MIBR looks the much stronger side in that matchup. Simply put, on the CT side, they got a lot of rounds together through cohesion between the team. And on the T side, they just isolated all the weaknesses in NRG.
It's very true. The downside was as well, Cirque, as much as he can be such a playmaker like we're seeing there, he was only really doing that on the T side. He was unable to go for a big opening frag. We didn't really see him put into a position to try and open it up with early picks. And also, MIBR were countering that as well. Heavy nades towards top banana when they expected potential plays. Luckily, he wasn't there at those certain times, but it did mean that confidence took a bit of a dip. He wasn't allowed to go for as many outrageous plays, but this was the flick that was absolutely nutty. Yeah, that flick made my wrist hurt. But this Fallen play, I think that was just the key bit that basically guaranteed that MIBR win this map, because he did it so well. It was mad. It was very, very bizarre, because it's one of those plays that Fallen only wins, right? And you look at it, and it doesn't even come down to him finding the frags necessarily. It was how long he delayed them for, the movement, the understanding of the sound. And bear in mind, sound in CS is hard enough to decipher sometimes. But at a LAN event like that, where there's so much external noise around you and it's very hard to hear things crystal clear, he read them like an absolute librarian. Yeah, it was really well played from him. And that's the kind of thing you expect from the IGL, right? You want him to give performances when you expect him to come up with it, right? It was a 2v1, fair dropped in Graven, and he knew, okay, the only way I win this round is if I make this big play here. And he made it perfectly, right? Everything worked in his favour. He even got the no-scope at the end to actually top it all off. It was really well played. It is quite ridiculous to think. Obviously, a nice return to form from Fallen there. Might not have had the most outrageous performance the entire game, but it's those key rounds that you always look to him for. You know he's going to step up when he needs to. Yeah, he's definitely one of those players. And I think the main thing, though, you can see the difference in the actual idea that MIBR started the game off. They knew we have a game plan in mind, right? That's to isolate Cirque, make sure he doesn't have any involvement in the game. So the CT side, he really wasn't allowed to go for any picks. Obviously, towards Banana, they recognized there's a triple grenade there, triple grenade again on the corner. And they're just like, okay, Cirque's like, can I go for Banana for a pick? And they're like, no, they've been sometimes triple nading it, you can't go for it, otherwise you'll just straight die. And I really like that, because they realized if we isolate him, we can limit his effect on the map. But we'll understand, other player will get their own, right? It happens in basketball sometimes. You'll allow a player to get their own averages. You'll be like, okay, that's fine, that will happen. But we can limit this player. We can target him, make sure he doesn't get anything done. And that was true through the whole CT side. It restricted him so much. And Cirque normally is sort of kind of the heart of NRG. In a lot of the games they play, it requires him to be able to have a big impact on not only opening up rounds, but normally closing them down. If he physically isn't allowed to attempt to open up a round ever, you limit him so much and put him into an awful position. The crazy fact is as well, at the end of that game, everyone in MIBR was positive by quite a nice amount. The only player that didn't go positive was Tarek, and he just dropped a Nutri bomb. So that's not too bad, going 16-16. I mean, fair play to him. He had a couple of tasty rounds in there as well. Yeah, I've noted it. It was like the fact that they had such a good team performance, right? Every player getting kills when needed. Nobody was hard carrying them. Nobody was slowing them down either. It was a really good performance from them. And honestly, thinking about that, that was NRG's pick. Inferno was where they needed to get it going. And now you move on to Cash. And that's a map where technically they've got 33% win rate on it. They've played 6 games on it, fine. That's not a very big sample size. But ultimately, you've got to be thinking, this will favour MIBR in every way. Yeah, it's got to, even down to the core of this map, right? It's really going to be a one-side odds stacked against them, because we talked about that weakness in their map pool and in their veto, because at any point, if you play best of 3 versus them, you're pretty much guaranteed to at least get Dust 2 or Cash. If you guarantee one of those maps, it's pretty much a free win. We saw that yesterday when they faced off versus MVP. They just don't have enough down on the map, nor do they have enough confidence when it comes to individually just playing it, and it all starts to fall apart. And that's the thing, it's a weird one, because most teams, they'll decide, okay, this is our 100% veto. We'll ban this map every single time. NRG, they've been switching between both of them. They're just like, we'll try Dust 2 today. Well, we lost it, so let's ban Cash. No, ban Dust 2 now. We'll play Cash.
And you can't do that. You simply can't do that. You need to understand, you need to have 6 maps that you can 100% be like, we can play them. While they may not be all strong as each other, we need to be comfortable on those 6 rather than being half comfortable on 7 of them.
Yeah,
it's really awkward.
It falls into the position we see here, where you are playing them and sure you're switching it up at times, but you're never really in position to actually play the map you're stronger on, or at least starting to work towards, right? If you took that time out there to work on cash, more so try and incorporate into the map pool, you use Dust 2 as your default ban, at least you've got a map that you're going to be slightly better on, rather than just being a little bit awkward on both.
Yeah, it's very difficult, because when you think about teams anyway, normally in your mind you just go, okay, let's make sure you have 4 maps that we're really good at, because then you can guarantee in a best of 1 at least, you'll always get one of those based on how you ban. However, in a best of 3, things change. Obviously, you have to have 5, 6 maps maybe, and you need to, especially when it's now ban, ban, pick, pick. Right, that does mess you up a bit, because in the past it was ban, 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 pick, pick. So now you've got a system where you do get caught out, and unfortunately for NRG, they're feeling the brunt of it here, because they might lose this map as well, and that will just show you up that they've lost 2 of their weakest maps at the event.
Yeah, which is really going to prove, with essentially an exclamation point after those maps, this is something they need to work on.
So Daps goes for the Molotov buy, drops the P250 to Breezy, Fugly with the grenades as well, and it looks like somebody in A site play from the get-go. Fallen, the only player here. They're going to boost over, though, at mid. And if this is quiet, Stewie could be absolutely huge here, depending on the time. If you go straight into A main, this could be absolutely crazy. He's already dropped in as well. This should be 3 kills. Oh, he's whiffing.
The backstab from Stewie. He set himself up so perfectly, but unfortunately when it comes to the execution, it falls flat on its face. Fallen as well. Not looking like himself from the previous map, and Cirque is having a field day. Cirque just smacks them all out the server, 1 by 1. Ben finally puts a bullet through Stewie's brain and ends where his thoughts get processed. That is going to be the huge opening round, won by NRG, and more importantly, one off the back of Cirque, the Bulgarian bulldozer.
To think that we were giving him all those critiques in between just then. That's a good start, though. 5 kills. I was thinking for a second, though, I was thinking that train map we saw yesterday against MVP for NRG. Cirque got 4 kills into the pistol, and then they still lost. Yeah. A 1v5. But thankfully this time, Cirque made sure of it. He made sure to get that last kill. Otherwise, there could have been a chance. And this is an interesting one, isn't it? Send 4 players over the boost. I saw something similar from this at Summit from Complexity. And I believe it was quite funny, Lurpis pointed out, Shazam was the last player to go actually towards the end here, towards the vent. And he made noise dropping off. Yet all the other players stayed up there. So it's all dependent on if a player does come with a boost. If they come with a boost, they'll probably be quite overwhelmed. Ethan is up there, but I doubt he goes across without any info. Fugly, ooh, he spotted all of them.
Well, the boy band at mid, about to be slaughtered, it seems, as the peak will come through. And the SMGs are having a field day. Ethan will eliminate Cold Zero just off the back of the Glock play. And it is left on Stewie now. And a 1 versus 5. We've seen a pistol round from Cirque. Can Stewie somehow do the same? And the answer to that will be no.
I do like seeing some teams actually try and do something together, at least on the rounds, like, rounds where you've not bought anything. You may as well do it as a collection, right? Make sure you do it all together rather than going for individual picks here and there. Because if that works out, for example, if a player goes over boost, you kill them instantly. Yeah. You kill the player on mid, you've got 2 guns for yourself.
Well, it's the thing, you just got to look at it for what it is, really. On a round like that, where you have no real investment, you can try and play it like a gun round and lose, or you can try and play it in an unorthodox strategy. It's a little bit shocking or a little bit different, potentially catch them off guard and win, or lose as you would have done anyway.
Yeah, and that ultimately, they don't get a kill from it, but in terms of actual shock, they did definitely get a shock towards Ethan and Fugly who were clearing it. Daps keeps the Mach 10, and they're actually running straight through. Tarek is playing close, but Tarek doesn't land a single shot there, whereas Breezy lands everything needed. Cold Zero, the only man on the B site now. A lot of noise in B main, which is going to be cause for concern as the rotate comes through.
Well, grouped up outside of B, they're going to be knocking on the door. Starting to make their play in towards the site. Fallen, though, finds the early entry kill, assisted by Cold Zero to take down Fugly as well. And Cold, confident in the peaks. He's warming up as we'll be able to find that headshot. Shuts down Brezzy. It's not a good position to be in now for NRG. The reset round could come back to bite them in the bottom, Ben, as it is just Daps and Cirque that remain. And they're both relatively low. Fur as well coming in with a backstab. Cirque somehow stays alive, left on 9 HP.
just a matter of time, really. Fallen pushes in. And that was a really nice hold from coldzera and Fallen. Obviously, Tarek falls in quite early. But NRG, they were so slow. There was no killer instinct onto that site. They got the entry kill. But it was long enough that Fallen was able to rotate, push straight through the CT smoke onto site. And a beautiful flash through heaven, which allowed them to get the opening kills onto that bomb site and get the bomb down, ultimately. So a very quick round loss from NRG. Obviously, they did keep some SMGs in. So you could argue it was a bit more of a bonus round, at least. So that does mean this is the bigger one of the two. Fugly, you can see he's limited in terms of weapon. No primary weapon available for him. Ace, that seems to be the confident pick, though. Daps does a smoke from the truck. Starting to flash out, the execute will come through. Stewie, that nade's going to be fantastic. Oh, fair.
Fur finding the double kill early on. Brezzy with the response, shuts down Fur at least. Stewie pushed right through, but Fugly will get the flick around and assault him with the AK, Ben, and it is starting to crumble now. 2 versus 3 left into this round. NRG, can they pick this one up? Daps taking the full brunt of the grenade as it will explode directly in front of him. They can try and go for the boost play, and Fugly is going to be the man on top. Daps is the bottom.
So Tarek moving towards the forklift. They originally knew there was a player in door. Tarek has picked up a Molotov as well. If he were to use it towards quad, it'd be an open kill. coldzera flashes main. That flash is perfect, but the smoke came through from Tarek.
Oh, Daps being a versatile bottom here, being able to find the flick around, shuts down Tarek, leaves it just into the one-on-one now, though, as he will falter at the last hurdle. Molotov cast across. He's got a hold on it, and it's not spreading. What? You might get it, bud. Oh, the last second, the spread being able to take him down. It felt like it was just on the angle, wasn't going to spread, but it goes through. That's going to be a soul-crushing loss on that round.
And those odds are actually kind of crazy. Because obviously the win rates on the maps do, they do obviously favour MIBR. And based on the fact this is MIBR's pick and everything, but I wouldn't have said it would be that overwhelming towards one side. That's a really solid round to win as well, especially when you consider Fur. He got 2 kills straight out of A main. Obviously gets traded, but he still got 2 for 1. MIBR forced straight back into it. Fallen, not even a Kevlar in play for him. Cirque opens it up, and the B-split call is very fast from NRG here. Fortunately for them, nobody towards the B site for MIBR.
A minute and 30 on the clock here as they've completely invaded the B site. This is their territory now. They've staked a claim. MIBR, do they dare to defy them? NRG have been able to secure the bomb plant. And it looks like NRG might just let this one slide away, but Cirque is on the aggression there. Goes for the peek out, finds the early frag, eliminates Stewie 2K, and delves back, skulking his way to relink with his teammates. Fallen's going to salvage the UMP at least, so he has something to save into the round, but the remaining trio on MIBR are forced into the save.
So this does leave them into an awkward spot, I feel, because you've got 3 guns saved, right? You're going to get 1900 for this loss here. Considering you've got 2 rifles and a UMP saved, assuming Fallen does stay alive, Daps did spot him towards the end there, but Daps does have limited time to find the kill, shouldn't have a chance. It means you've got a weird one, because you could really invest back into it again. Because you were willing to invest with less than you had before. At least now you'd get some more CZs in, and armor. But it looks like the call's going to be to just save this round. Hopefully the M4s can do something. No smokes available though, so you're going to be relying on the pure gunpowder. So the question is, what will NRG do? Anticipating that some of the guns might have been saved. I don't think they will have seen too many M4s. There was the spam from Fur originally. And this is definitely one way to play the M4 being saved though. Put him in a spot where he can get multiple kills with ease.
coldzera opens it up. And there'll be no ease for Brezzy as he is taken down very early on.
Oh, that smoke's missed.
Yeah, this is awkward for Cirque. Realises it's worth just cutting his losses now. Going to fall back. Grabs the bomb and links up with the rest of his teammates, Ben. It's 4 versus 5 into the round. Ethan does have map control towards mid and is slowly ascending his way around up towards the A site. Fugly provides support as well in case Fallen peeks out. And Stewie.
Oh, this could be big. If Fur were to have flashed highway, they might have been able to get the kill onto Ethan here. Instead, though, Ethan trying to get even more map control. Fallen, no armor as well with the UMP, which means he doesn't have a chance of winning that firefight. Although Stewie, he thought about advancing further. The main thing is, if Ethan goes up highway, he'll spot out Fer and give Fer no chance to get involved. But instead, he forces it. He gets the first kill. Surely nothing else, though.
Yeah, only one frag found before the smackdown comes back. Ethan really showing his worth into this round, Ben. Eventually put to bed as coldzera will come through. What can the Sandman carry on getting up to into the round? 1 versus 2. There's an AK close by if he wants to trade out to it, or stick to his trusty M4. Ascends the ladder. Slowly skulks his way forward, getting into position to try and close this one down. Glides across, is now fully exposed, drops down, Fugly finds the frag, and another round goes the way of NRG. Their T-side starting to bolster now, as they are in quite a good position as we reach round 7.
It's worth keeping in mind this is a map that NRG would not be favoured on. A map that they have a low win rate on as well. MIBR, 64% win rate for the 14 games they've played on it. So it's not a bad map by any means for them, but so far this start has not been good enough. They're going to be trying to get back into it now. No AWP available. Fer playing towards the sandbags. Fallen towards highway. As Ethan gets put on the boost again, he's been such a good player so far on this map with an AK. Same as he was Inferno, really. He was getting a lot of influential kills. Ultimately winning them the round. So he's going to be taking mid on his all on his own here.
Oh, Ethan chucks out the Molotov. Fer taking a fair bit of damage before he actually dropped out the smoke. Tarek as well. Taking a bit of a beating, Ben. Going to be left black and blue towards the B site.
So yeah, a lot of early damage. Suddenly, what? How has he been allowed to get those kills? Surely they must realize that he can be out of mid, especially with that smoke there. Perhaps some poor communication there from MIBR. This round not looking good either. First stuck at sandbags, can't do anything. I can't help but feel like a tactical pause will be coming in straight after this round, because that was quite poor from MIBR. That was not good enough at all.
This was very rough from them. Conceding a round that potentially could have been theirs at this point. MIBR, they have to let it slip. NRG going to get themselves to 6 rounds, Ben, on their T side. Building a nice little buffer. Confidence will start growing as well.
It's definitely the case, but I feel like for MIBR, that defense, it appears really weak currently. Potentially getting a bit too overzealous from the actual first map. Obviously, it was quite one-sided. And ultimately, MIBR, they should know it wasn't their pick. This is their pick. They should be the ones taking this game themselves. Like, this should be them taking advantage of the fact that they should know that they're the better side. But instead, NRG have been able to play their own game and do what they want. The late hunt's coming through, though. Tarek, he's quite low. But ultimately gets the kill and should stay alive. Dap's a bit late to the party. Doesn't get anything.
Round 8 now. NRG putting themselves into a good lead, but they have to try and keep it going. MIBR, in terms of the investment, it's just going to be the one M4 they were able to carry over. The rest of them just rocking with the CZs. They do buy up around it, though, so they will have armor and utility to support them going into it. coldzera also on the M4.
So once again, we're towards that same sort of area with mid. Ethan, a lot of damage onto Tarek. He's one of the players with a gun as well. So not have to do much since that pistol round. Only had the 2 kills since. But I suppose with the scoreline as it is, he'd be perfectly fine with that. So it seems like NRG, they've kind of isolated the weakness on MIBR's side in terms of the map. Mid seems to be an area where they're not able to defend it, especially when they have no AWP. It's not even a case of having the AWP hold mid either. It's the fact that you don't have an AWP being the solo presence on one of the sites. A site is the hit though. That smoke towards highways landed a bit short, giving opportunities for players to push through.
Fugly, an elevated angle, spots out the head of Fer, is going to be able to spam his way through his chest and take him down. Dap's going to rotate back around. finds the assault with the AK, and it is only coldzera and Tarek that remain now. 3 on 2 here. Bomb yet to be planted, but it will start to go down. Cirque. This is going to be vintage Cirque, surely. If they go for this, he should find the flicks relatively easily, as he has had some monstrous kills with the AWP today. Now knows where coldzera is as well, as he telegraphs his location, fires off a few warning shots. He's been given a moment to actually back off. They're lucky they gave him that opportunity because he can go for the save. MIBR though, Ben, rapidly dropping rounds here, and Ethan finds that frag as well. Bit of a weird play from coldzera, no real reaction.
No real need as well as the thing, because that, there's no real need to go for that kill, because that kill will get you, what, $300? That's about it. And MIBR finally taking the tactical pause well, down 7-1 here. So far, Cash not working out in their favor. They do need to get some sort of revitalization into this map, though. It's a very weird one. The weird part about thinking about this could be the same system that I mentioned with the Luminosity Vanguard game, where Luminosity picked the map to isolate the weakness from a Vanguard rather than their own strength. MIBR potentially doing the same thing. Obviously, there were some different options in terms of map picks available to them. But instead, they opted for Cash. But so far, it's not looked like one of their better maps. And it's been quite the opposite for NRG as well. They've looked really strong so far.
Which is crazy when you think about it. This is normally a map they struggle on, but walking into this one, maybe it's all been a ruse, Ben.
Certainly feels that way, at least, based on the stats we have available to us. So Tarek picking up the AWP as well as Fallen. So that's something different, having double AWP available to them. On a map like Cash especially, this map, if you have multiple AWPs available to you, you can control a lot of the areas of the map. However, Tarek, he needs to land this first shot, otherwise he can be isolated really badly. And when he limits his, it's such a small angle he's holding as well. One flashbang, he misses the first shot and could get overwhelmed.
Smug goes down to block off Fallen towards mid. Tarek as well has to respond by dropping a smoke at his feet to extinguish the flames that were burning him out of position. First peek comes around and Fugly does walk into the spider's trap. He'll be able to wrap up this push.
Oh, timing.
Oh, the flashbang goes across, actually blinds Daps, keeps him into an awkward spot. Fallen's arrived as well and can assist his teammate. Gets the follow-up pick onto Cirque. Tarek with the final killing blow annihilates Ethan. And they do eventually get a second round.
I said that Tarek needed to do quite well, land that first shot, to give himself a chance at having backup to arrive. He lands the first shot, and the flashbang that came through heaven at the right time, as Tarek moved his aim across, blind Daps means that Tarek does not fall. coldzera pushes through. Tarek gets a 3K in the round. But the issue is for NRG, they need to understand where the AWP actually will be, because it's no longer a Tarek now. Fallen gets it back, because they didn't recover the second AWP that was dropped. And with that movement, Fallen takes it into the door and actually gets blinded completely, has to fall back. And so this is the first time we've seen today a player going for the AUG as well. Nobody in the previous matchup we saw bought it. It wasn't bought last map either. But Stewie decides it's time for it to come out.
Stewie on the AUG. Let's see what he can get up to with this bullpup. As he is holding towards the A site right now. Going to cast up the flashbang in towards the door.
Don't think that even reached.
No, lucky popped a little bit early.
Yeah, Cirque not affected whatsoever by it. It landed in the doorway, you could see. Not fully in. They are planning to boost onto the single box on site, perhaps for Fallen to take a peek into the door with it, which he is. Looking for that peek onto Cirque. Cirque, he had quick reactions earlier on, but he misses this time.
Won't be able to get the frag. The door is going to be shut as well to block off that angle of opportunity. coldzera gets taken down by Ethan.
Ethan has been a menace towards mid so far this game.
He really has been a nuisance.
The 30 seconds left. They need to decide which bomb site it'll be. It looks like it'll be A.
Oh.
And that's another kill for Ethan, gifted across. Stewie finally does trade it. But there's 20 seconds now. NRG, they need to decide which bomb site. Thankfully, Breezy's made the info and actually got onto it. And he actually gets a kill onto Stewie as well.
It's a huge pick to find. They needed to pick up some kind of extra frag to get them into a good position to win this one. Breze spamming down by the AK. Will Slay fallen, but Tarek looks to try and throw this round into disarray. Rotates back round towards the A site. They both peek him together. Breze taking the bullet for his teammate there as Fugly found the frag, saves the AWP as well to Parks back over to Cirque. And NRG, they move on to 8 rounds now.
And that's a complete reset as well for MIBR. They need to force into it just to stand a chance of getting back into this game. 8-2 though. Only the one pause used thus far. This round, they need to win it if they want a chance of getting a chance for the second half even. That comeback would need to be absolutely monumental. So Tarek buys a scout. He did well with the AWP. However, the scout is a different beast in itself. Ultimately, I can't help but feel like Ethan has completely controlled this game. And that was a filthy shot as well.
Say his name, Ben, and he'll deal some damage, apparently, as he finds that entry towards mid. Just disgusting. The push comes round back towards the B site. Cold Zero with the Deagle. Can't really rewrite history there and will go down as able to dominate with the Deagle in his hands. And Stewie and Fur, the last 2 remaining CTs. At this point, it's probably worth just falling back. Stewie has armor and a CZ. Same could be said for Fur there with the M4 in his hands. Worth the save. NRG go to 9. At what point do you stop them only accumulating more and more rounds? And when do we see MIB take a timeout here? Possibly talk about this.
And this is one of the few rounds where NRG have actually won with all 5 players alive as well. You can see the money on their side. Even though they'd won 8 rounds to the 2 of MIBR, normally that would probably involve having quite a big bank being built. However, you can see highest cash is on Breezy. He's only got 6k. All the other rounds, they've had at least 1 or 2 players fall. And as I said, this is one of the rare times that that's not happened. And that's a worry. It really is. You see that the only other 2 times was the second round and that 5th. Other times between that then and now, they've had multiple players dropping over and over again. NRG can build a bank here. Stewie hoping to run in to grab the scout at the very least, but it doesn't look like he'll get anything. And that's the timeout. I was wondering, you'd only used 1 so far. The second one comes out now. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 3rd get used in this half as well. Purely because if you don't use them now, you probably won't get a chance to use them in the second half.
They need to get their heads in the game here. In terms of the investment going into this round as well, it isn't going to be too phenomenal. Really just scrape together whatever they could afford. For NRG, though, they have been very confident in these rounds. And Ethan, he has been amazing towards mid, opening up rounds countlessly and causing MIBR to have to rotate players so many times, just leaving them in awkward predicaments. As we delve back into it now, round 12, 9-2 scoreline, NRG leading. And MIBR, Ben, going out for the aggression once again towards mid. They're going to try the strategy once more.
It's better to see them doing something rather than nothing at all, because so far they've been allowing NRG to do what they want. And Fur's being so aggressive with that boost, though. He's dropping straight in.
Oh, Cirque, nearly ready for it. And you can see the damage transferred on towards Fur. Panicking, toying with his weapons there. Gets caught with his pants around his ankles, and that is going to be the frag found in their favor. And that round was a matter of seconds.
And this game is going from bad to worse for MIBR right now. It's 10-2. And this is a map that you'd probably be thinking, after you've won the first one, you're thinking, well, this is going to be a 2-0 for us. We've done really well there. We won their pick. But then you faltered very badly so far on your own pick. The highest kills is only 7 on Cold Zero. It's really not been good enough.
It is wild how this has gone. It's a complete flip from the initial game. Remember that tweet that Prius put out about MIBR yelling, you'd win those online, reinvigorated NRG a little bit.
Apparently so. I mean, they've clearly understood, even without their coach's impact, they know how to reset mentally. Stewie gets the opening onto Ethan. Looks like he's going to get another one as well onto Fugly. Although Breezy does not care about any of that. Cirque, I'm not too sure what he's planning to do in that smoke, but he still gets the kill.
Ooh, from the sideline as well. Cold Zero gets an easy frag off onto Daps, who will just waltz towards him. Tarek going to go for the rotate back around. Cirque, meanwhile, in position here with the AWP. What can he find? Oh, through the smoke, shuts down Cold Zero, but Tarek will still win the round. Gets the adjustment off and saves the AWP at the last second there. So it will go 10-3. If they can try bring this back, make it a 10-5 half, there is a lot more potential for them.
The crazier bit is that wasn't actually a buy round either from MIBR. That was a half buy situation, obviously just CZ to an MP9 on Fur. The fact they won that gives them a really nice opportunity here to get a 10-5 half. Cash is almost definitely a T-sided map as well. It was just more so the fact that NRG had been so one-sided into the half. It wasn't even like MIBR were putting up a fight. So again, Ethan being boosted at mid. He's done this time and time again so far this game. They were actually boosting in A main then. So instead of just jumping up the boxes the normal way you would, they actually boosted C over the smokes with just rifles. It's a very different style of play, that's for sure. And they actually boost towards Shroud as well, so Fur getting a second chance at that boost.
Will it work better for him this time, though? That is going to be the question. A minute left on the clock here as the push starts to come round out towards the A site. Hunkering down, utilizing that angle. Ethan isn't going to be going for his backstab through mid either, so they can't fully have a read on this and realize what Fur is up to. They won't know about his shenanigans, so potentially he could be a massive stopping force against NRG into this round, but through the smoke, Stewie doesn't give a damn, sprays down, gets the execution, and the massacre starts to go in favor of MIBR, Ben, as everyone is hitting the DECK. Stewie as well with a flick around, salvages himself and stays alive, eliminating Daps. Cirque, he had a huge pistol round. Can he close this half out with something phenomenal as well? Pushes in, tries to get the second shot off, but Stewie will dispatch him.
Very nice 3K from Stewie. Obviously, that first kill straight through the smoke gave enough of a distraction for Fur to get that first kill as well. Caused a disarray in the camp because they were thinking, where have we just been killed from? We don't have a clue, and then Fur strikes on that. And this is a real opportunity for them to get a fifth round. And if it's a 10-5, it's not quite the same as an 11-4, 12-3, even 13-2 we were thinking about earlier on. MIBR getting the confidence they need to go into that second half. Oh, that's a lovely shot.
Big boy Cirque dealing damage there. The Bulgarian bulldozer popping off for the early wall banging towards the round. 4 players remain for MIBR. Round 15 now. It could be a 10-5 half, but MIBR would have to fight tooth and nail through this one. They really need to get through by the skin of their teeth, and they are losing players, Ben. Fur going to go down once again.
Cold Zero, though, is giving himself a second chance here. Will catch Ethan off, but the trade from Daps is straight away. Stewie, the only man towards this A-bomb site. Tarek is so far away as well. Should not have much of a chance here. He flashes out. Gets the first kill, though. He's giving himself a chance.
Stewie could have been building into something absolutely crazy into that round, but no, there was no potential. The young star's been taken out. Tarek doesn't realise, walks in, Daps from the sideline, going to find the frag, Ben. An awkward way to end the half, but nevertheless, NRG lead 11-4. We'll carry on with this one after the half here as we go to a quick break. NRG proving they did have the energy to come back on the second map as they have been dominating. It was a crisp half from them, ending at 11-4.
However, they have made an error immediately into the pistol round. 2 players buying kits. Not quite the G2 mishap we saw a few weeks ago. That was a triple. It was on cash as well.
Yeah, the triple kit.
However, they've got Ethan and Daps both buying a kit. 2 flashes on Daps, a smoke on Ethan at the very least. So at least they've got different buys, I suppose. But ultimately, you got to be thinking that's a mishap, though. You're losing one of the armored players you usually would have. MIBR with a nice execute on this A site. Hoping to catch them up, but there's 3 players here. Oh, that Molotov. They put it out.
Fur on the early entry towards the site, though. Ben is going to be able to pick the head off of the initial man. Fallen helping him out as well. But they don't realize Fugly. He's been able to be a stealthy assassin here. As he hides in position, can slowly start to move his way out. They don't realize, gets the execution on Fallen, finds the first headshot. This could go all kinds of wrong here, really, but they need to try and get more picks. Fugly struggling. The knife tried to come out there from Fur, but he will quickly learn that was an error as Fugly takes him down. However, Coldzera trades it back, and MIBR will win the round.
So if that was an intentional buy in terms of the actual kits, the smoke obviously was a big factor. Ethan puts that monster straight out, allows Fugly to even get the advanced play. However, you can't but feel like it probably shouldn't have happened, I guess. If you're going for... You should never be going for 2 kits anyway. I don't see why you would bother. But maybe a smoke and a HE flash, maybe something like that, not another kit, I guess. I don't know, because both players were quite close to each other, so it's not like one side of the map needs it, the other does not. So MIBR do take that pistol round. 11-5 now. NRG do not go for the buy themselves, though. Pure 5 USPs available from them.
Fur, can you do a good Ethan impression towards mid here? As he was very effective at being able to open up this path through the map. Fur going to cast out the smoke early on, then go for the peek over, see if anyone is in close proximity. They are grouped up very heavily towards mid here. But he does not fancy his chances.
It's very similar to the MIBR second round we saw. Obviously, you've only got USPs. You know, you don't need to fully try and play it like a gun round, as you mentioned. Just play it all together, see if you catch some players out. Any damage done is better than none. However, MIBR have decided that the A site might be the task instead. Smoke towards highway, been put down. As well as, it's the same smoke's being used as the pistol round that they actually used. How much chaos can NRG cause though with USPs?
Well, so far, not much. Cirque will find 1 frag, but of course that is what Cirque does best. Everyone else has been taken out pretty easily though. Only 1 frag found with the SMG, so not too much cash going to be wired over to MIBR off the back of taking this round. And Daps looks to attempt to backstab.
Shouldn't be possible for him to get much done. He is walking into the Stewie 2K, so that's another SMG potentially finding $600 kill reward here. Depending on the peak, obviously. Yep, Stewie does get it, so that's a team ace for MIBR as well. 11-6, this should be NRG buying in. Cirque can actually go for an AWP here as well, which he will. And the odds still favouring MIBR though. They're really believing in the fact that this is a T-sided map, which it is, but it's still a big comeback.
They're going to need to have their wits about them, Ben, to pick this one off. Coldzera warming himself up as he does a couple of tricks with his knife.
So Daps has actually been given the task of being that lone player towards B, now supported by Cirque. So they're ultimately giving up mid completely, which I suppose that's quite bold. But if you do not have the triple rifles or Molotovs to play mid, it's not even worth sometimes showing the presence there. Daps trading blows with players towards B there. And this nade, ooh, that could have been quite good, but doesn't do as much as it probably should have. The scary bit is here, if they smoke CT and execute onto the B site, Cirque will be limited, he'll be stuck behind that smoke unless he pushes all the way through. But instead, I think they're actually going to focus more towards the midway. You can see Fugly and Breeze both moving down highway here. Going for the peak, they are fighting. misses the shots actually as well. Fugly gets 2.
Oh, Fugly. Close proximity, though, is able to actually get the follow-up frag. Shuts down Fallen, and this is where things get pretty awkward. Stewie trying to bail them out, gets the response, shatters the cranium of the man in front of him. Push goes out from Tarek, but Ethan will make very quick work of him. And it's up to a Stewie clutch, but it will not matter. Cirque was in position, locked and loaded. Easy for him to pull the trigger and punish Stewie. They get themselves that extra round break, and they bring it up to 12 now, as it is going to go 12-6. This is worrying.
And the tactical is not too surprising when you consider some of the money, Stewie 2K, Fur, not much money available to them. So if they were to buy, they'll be very limited. They need to know what are we going to buy if we are buying, because we might want them to have grenades. We might want them to have actual firepower. But it makes it really awkward, though. 12-6. That Fugly, he should never really be getting 3 kills in that position. The fact that Fallen wasn't able to get the trade at the end as well made it all so much worse. So Tarek's actually opened it up there. He's gone for the straight grenades buys available. Cold Zero will follow up with another Molotov as well. So it seems to be very heavily surrounding the grenades by Molotovs here. Which to me would usually that assumes it's going to be a B play. Which you can see the herd of players, majority going towards B at the very least. 2 AKs of Galil, CZ and P250. MIBR, they need to win this round to have a chance, I feel. If they lose it, NRG should be able to run away with it.
Flashbangs come over. They go for this push in now towards the B site. Shrouded and blocked off by the flames. Won't be able to get in as early as they want to. Cirque in position with the AWP. Try and punish them here if he's given an opportunity, but they wait right now. In terms of utility, they do still have 3 flashbangs to play with and the double Molotov. But Cirque's just going contact, Ben. Gonna walk straight in. That should have been the collat. It was just the one frag. Caught them off guard as they were trying to boost their way back up through the vent.
So the smoke lands in towards CT. Cirque's already done the damage though. He's already taken one of your players out. So he will easily give it up. Cold Zero gets a kill back though onto Daps. So it will be a 4v4 retake coming through. NRG got some good nades to make this retake happen. But the question is, will they be limited in terms of where they can come from? Cold Zero hold the vent. Tarek holding behind. The 2 players towards site need to cover CT and upper.
Oh, flashbangs go across. Cirque going to be able to get that kill very easily. Tarek as well assisting as they shut down Ethan. Cirque and Brizzy get a kill apiece, but it's all up to Fallen now to bail them out of this awkward situation. So close, 1 HP for Cirque. 17 respectively there as well for Brizzy, but they do get the round. It's going to go 13-6. NRG, they want to push this to a 3rd map, Ben. They're not content with leaving the tournament at this stage.
Yeah, they're holding onto that lifeline currently. That round could have gone one of 2 ways, really. The fact that he faces CT pre-firing the wrong angle. If he'd landed at just a single bullet, or maybe 2, that would have been the difference maker, right? Cirque was 1 HP at the end. So that's actually a Z-smoke that's missed there, landing on the sandbags, which is kind of peculiar. So it looks like door burst might be the call, which... There's another nade being missed there by Ethan as well. Quite peculiar. Dorpus will be coming through. Shouldn't be any problem for these players on A. Very easy to deal with. Tarek left all alone now. Has a deal in his hand. Shouldn't be able to get anything really.
Oh, flashbang goes in. Tarek blind, and they will be able to find that headshot very easily. At this point, seeming like it should be the win for NRG, really. I mean, that's a 6-14 scoreline. MIB would need a monstrous comeback, and they would have to win every round, essentially flawlessly from this point onwards.
It's a tough one, that's for sure. This is a map that NRG were not previously comfortable with. Obviously, banning it yesterday in the series against MVP. Playing it now today due to MIBR picking it, recognizing that it was a weakness for them. However, they started so strong on the T side, took control of the game. leaving MIBR in a situation like this. Ethan taking so much damage, but he still wants to get that nade in. He charges in as well.
Ooh, Fallen.
Right next to Fallen.
Right there, doesn't realise. Eventually he's able to get the flick around, assisted by Fur. So Ethan and Brezit will be dealt with. This is still not absolutely amazing. I mean, it's going to be an awkward push out. Fallen was going to stay lucky to survive, but eventually still does get turned to ash by the flames. Tarek with the assist back around. They smack down on Cirque. And it is all up to Fugly now to essentially just salvage the kit he has. But the push is coming, Ben. They're hunting him.
Yeah, Tarek is hunting towards that CT angle. The question is, will he actually push into the site and check the left-hand side? Because normally you check the right. Although Tarek checks the left-hand side, actually gets the right-hand peak, easy kill found. But that round was so hectic overall. You got to be thinking, NRG, obviously they were the ones who forced the issue just then. They made that A main push, even after being damaged so much as well. They give MIBR a chance though. We saw a comeback earlier from 14-8 down. This one was 14-6. If MIBR win this one, we're probably looking at a 14-9 scoreline, if not 14-10. Question is, can they do it? Or will NRG actually complete this map retrieval? So Cirque actually opening towards B is different. Normally coldzera has orbed or Molotov off that angle, which he will do now. But Stewie taking a lot of damage in the door there. Ethan just spamming it. Certainly not a good start in terms of damage given to both teams. However, MIBR playing it so much slower compared to the last round we saw. They're much more willing to play towards mid and then rotate onto the sides and retake it from there. MIBR though, 50 seconds left. They're going to be rotating towards this A site. That's 100% appears to be the call. Stewie and Fallen lining up smokes. coldzera now arriving in A main with Fur and Tarek. Smokes have been thrown. It might be the same smokes they use in the pistol, but it's actually the deeper ones as well. Perfect timing for this, especially when Ethan's played towards highway.
Ethan getting the headshot off. We'll be able to eliminate Fur at least. And this is awkward now for MIBR, Ben. I mean, they've got the side control, but they're still looking quite shaky into this round. Tarek's going to try and get the bomb plant down at least. Ooh, Fallen. He could have potentially got himself the double kill there. Everyone's being picked off. They're all falling out of favor. And Tarek is going to be the man to try and salvage the round. Peeks out, gets the first, and the second on the spray down. Cirque remains with 1 HP. But that will be the 15th round accumulated now for NRG. MIBR, they just look done.
It's very weird. It's, considering the situation at least, this was their map pick. And obviously to start the game off, they couldn't quite get into it. Cirque getting that very morale boosting 5-man start the game off as well. Made it so that NRG could get straight back into the game and not worry about the fact that they lost their own pick. Whereas MIBR though, NRG didn't look this defeated in the previous map.
Yeah.
That's for sure. They still looked like they were in with a fight. Whereas so far, they look very defeated, deflated. Not very willing to go for it. Fur's going to be pop flashing A main as they push through. Ethan tasked with the...
Cuts off Fallen. Tarek going to trade it back, Ben. This is not looking amazing. Luckily, coldzera starts to relive a little bit of what he can get up to. Finds the tap down. As it will fall into the 4 versus 3 now. The retake going to be quite hard for NRG. But are they confident enough to try and go for this one? Looks like they might just concede it for now. Obviously, they realise you're at match point. You don't need to force the issue. You can fall back, try and win this one a little bit later on, and still play comfortably.
Especially with the money not actually being too fantastic for them. MIBR, though, the rounds they win are purely off of those high-tempo rounds where they try and catch their opponent off guard. Which is very worrying because you cannot actually rely on that to work every time. You need to land the first shot each time. Obviously, Ethan did land the first shot that time, but the trade was immediate. And thanks to Coldzera landing that fantastic shot towards track as well. It gave them a nice opening onto the site. They were able to get the bomb down. The save came through. NRG will actually respond with a buy here as well. So 15-8. NRG, they've had a total of 8 match points to go for this. Now down to 7 after that last round. They will be looking to end it here and force that third map in train.
So they make their push up towards the B site. Cirque, waiting with the AWP, will try and make fools out of them. Cast out the Molotov as well, gets the first and the second. Seems like it was going to be the Cirque show to close down the game, but luckily Stewie's there. And he will end it for the meantime. Keeps it going as it will be a 4 versus 3 retake scenario now into potentially the last round of the game.
So Fugly, I think, is the big player here. He'll be hoping to get that lurk, the backstab in towards the end of the round. We saw it from Breezy earlier on when he dropped out of the vent late. The Molotov's being used on the site. Fugly still slowly moving in from the backside. Coldzera is ready for it though. Playing this post plant so well, Daps has to retreat. He tries to go towards CT, finds the kill on Stewie. But ultimately, this has got to be the round over. Surely he doesn't get anything else. He actually gets the kill on Fallen too.
Somehow able to find a follow-up frag before he retreats. MIBR looking quite crisp there towards the later stages of that round, Ben. But it's still the fact that they're so far behind, really. It really is going to have to be a slobber knocker of a game if they want to bring this one back. So close to finding the frag on the re-aggression. Daps.
I think both players were looking for the same AWP right there. At least neither of them got to it, I suppose, is the ultimate thing right there. So MIBR win 2 rounds, both of them being pop attempts at both of the sites. That time Cirque nearly completely destroyed the attack as well. He got 2 kills on the way in. But MIBR, they prevailed at that post plant. Really well played from them. And it looks like it's going to be is that a 4-man door push? That's something else for sure.
Yeah, this is a real change in terms of what we've sort of been seeing coming out from these players now. Smoke's going to go down early on to try and block off towards Z. It's a heavy stack towards the A site, Ben, as they make their move up. Fur getting the first contact, spams down with the AK, but won't connect onto anyone, and they're all deviating back. They're actually falling over towards the B site. This is perfect as well. If they can get into B, it's where the minimal amount of players are, but they are all funneling in towards mid, and Tarek is having a field day as they are fed to the slaughter. Frezzy, though, with a response, gets the headshot off onto Fur. Now starts to extend his way around. Tarek is there. Will he spot him out? Tarek creeps through, is ready for it, locked and loaded, and the game is getting closer.
Yeah, you start feeling it in the back of your head as soon as they reach that double-digit round tally. When you've already got match point available to you, you start wondering, it keeps going 10, 11, 12, you just start wondering how much are we going to let them get before we even take a pause of our own or before we even win the round. NRG, they haven't actually used a pause yet as well. That's the crazy thing. They recognize we just need to have 1 round where we actually do win those trades to start the round off with. From there, we can just take it. And that's some cheeky little spam there from Tarek.
Yes.
Only does 6 damage, but it was still like in perfect line with it.
That's what I mean. He understood quite well where to actually tap that out. Could have been nice. Gonna go for the boost over once again. MIBR, they need confidence here as well. Oh, Tarek.
Oh, no.
Disgusting. But the response from Breze is going to be quite the nuisance. However, they put Fur into a prime time position to pop off now, Ben. 2 lucrative frags. They push their way out towards mid. Ethan going to go in for the backstab with a famous but cold. He spotted it out. He's aware of the shenanigans. Tries to stop him from exiting. Gets a heavy tag off, but he will still stay alive.
Ethan very lucky to live there, I feel, because Coldzera, even when he heard the drop noise, his crosshair went perfectly to where he actually landed. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to land the shots even when he was jumping away. Coldzera, it felt like he was tracing him all the way. So MIBR, they get an 11th round. Tarek with a lovely opener towards Z. And unfortunately, obviously he was traded, but Fur was there to double up on that. Cirque living with the AWP is probably the big one here, though. That is the biggest value weapon you currently have on, or rather in play. Fallen is slowly moving towards it, but I can't feel like he... What? He actually gets that? I was thinking he probably doesn't need to go for it. He's the one who has an AWP on the T side.
This is worrying, Ben, because this is MIBR playing with confidence, and they push in for denying the save for Ethan. This is what's scary. Is MIBR, they look lifeless. They look like they were getting beat, but they look like they were getting beaten by themselves. Now, they've woken up. They're just going headstrong into this matchup, and they're finding these critical rounds, but it's not even just the rounds they're winning. It's the way they're winning them in, the form they're starting to bring through. We saw that there with Fallen with a confidence peak. This is worrying.
It's got to the point, though, where they're not worried about losing, though, as well.
They're just playing to win.
Yeah, they're just playing to kill right now. And obviously, that appears to be the way that they play with confidence now. They just take every fight they can. coldzera holding the spray. Should get all 4, although Tarek bails him out. Tarek saves the day, some would say.
Comes in at the last second there to give him a helping hand. Ethan as well, the last man to fall, as he will be put to pieces by Fur. And MIBR, they're keeping this game close, Ben. It's a 15-12 scoreline here. There's going to be a reinvestment now from NRG. But MIBR, if they play any way like they have been in these past few rounds, this could keep going their way. They will use a pause as well. You might as well.
I can't feel like this pause might make them lose the game, though. They've been going with such a high tempo.
Yeah.
The pause makes NRG think, okay, they're actually having to think about this round. It won't be something fast-paced. But what's been working for MIBR has been those fast-paced takes, going quick at them, finding the kills early, getting the trades when needed. The pause might not have been the best idea, because now it makes them, the pressure comes back onto your shoulders, thinking we could make this comeback happen, instead of playing with, no regard or whatever. You're just going for kills yourself. The fact that NRG didn't take a pause in the past few rounds is quite shocking as well, really.
It's the risky run. Well, 15-12 here. MIBR off the back of the pause. Will this be where they start to lock it down, or where the game begins to slip away from them once again? Obviously, one round is all they have to play with.
Oh, that spam. Oh, I can't feel like that should have killed Ethan there. It felt like he was tracing it perfectly in where he was lining up with. But the bullet's making an outline of him there. 1 minute 25 on the clock. And this is completely different again to what... Think about the rounds that MIBR had won.
Yeah.
By this point, they were usually into the site. However, this time they're playing so much slower again. When they played a more methodical way, NRG were able to counter it very well. It's going to be a full 4-smoke execute, actually, towards A, by looks things. 3 smokes being lined up outside of A main. Stewie does his out of the door. Ethan will also have A main as well to delay this push. coldzera can put it out if he wants to, but it looks like they're waiting for it. But you can already see the rotate, though. NRG, they're willing to send so many players across. That's not a good start for them.
coldzera getting the kill with the Kalashnikov will eliminate Breze. Ethan trying to find an opportunity, but nothing is given to him, Ben. Tarek will punish him with the AK. When it now falls into the 5 versus 3, this is awkward, but Fugly tries to make a play. Goes in headstrong. Takes on Tarek in the 1v1 and does win it. However, there is the trade back from coldzera. Cirque and Daps, the only 2 remaining soldiers for NRG, and they are forced to save it.
So that take does work out very well for MIBR, purely because Breezy, he was caught in the middle of nowhere, right? He was caught in no man's land completely. Didn't expect the players to be pushing through a main. Thought he could get towards that upper, the heaven sort of angle where he can catch players running out. Instead, gets completely caught out. Ethan, too many angles to watch as well after Breezy gets taken down. 15-13. It's starting to get a bit shaky now for NRG, because you save 2 weapons here. You should be going for a half buy. And that, if you do lose that one, that pushes it to 15-14. And then you go for the big buy round on that last one. And still no pause, though, from NRG.
Just taking it on the chin, letting it happen. Here we go.
Finally, yeah. You were 15 to what? 15-7, I believe it was, I said?
It was a mad lead.
And they've managed to play it out 6 rounds since then. And they were, what, 4 of those 6 rounds were buy rounds as well? You'd put yourself in a situation where that could really have spiraled out of control further. Yet they willingly allowed it to get to this point, at the very least. And MIBR, considering how defeated they did look, they've managed to get a lot more confidence back. And when you think about the confidence, that is such a big player on that MIBR side.
It's crazy because that was the main point we sort of touched on, right? Was the fact that it seemed like they were kind of defeated amongst themselves. They weren't really playing to that style of CS that we expect to see coming out from MIBR. Now, definitely back on form, looking a whole lot more well-versed going into this, Ben. Round 29 here. MIBR, they still have to carry on playing flawlessly. Spawn looks lovely. And so does potentially the round here. Breze, with the 5-7 in his hand, as he goes close underneath the boost, but no one is going to be coming over. MIBR, they're playing it a lot slower into this one already, just holding their angles. We saw the boost on top of the van as well, so they would have had height on Tarek. He would have been scoped in, looking over and seeing if he could have got a pick onto Ethan. Oh,
that was a really nice nade. I do like it when the people do use the nade over boost towards highway because you can get it perfectly to land just over that white box, exactly where a player would be if they're jump spotting mid. However, Breezy, he's playing close here. Looks like he's ready to Molotov this. Stewie takes a huge hit as well in door. But they're actually on a Molotov towards highway. Shouldn't be needed after that kill.
You've already found the frag. There's no reason to be cast it out. Anyway, Tarek caught off guard as Breze goes for the play, charges in. They brought it back into the 4-on-4, but the pick is already there from Fallen, Ben, as he will be blown away. And now going in towards this B site. Fugly. It relies so heavily on him to fug them up a bit as they push their way through.
That's a good kill to find on the other side of the map as well there, Daps. He has a kit available to him. Fugly gets one, doesn't get a second though. Daps, last man alive, 1v2.
Can a Canadian All-Star do it? No. Goes down instantly. Fallen going to be able to find the flick around. 15-14, Ben. It comes down to this. Round 30. MIBR win this, we go to overtime. If not, this will be the victory for NRG here and push us to train.
Look how many AWPs they've brought out from MIBR.
It's the Hydra.
So this is a bit of an interesting one, that's for sure. I mean, the one player that you would normally think definitely should have an AWP design, I was going to say, yeah, Fallen.
It's the Quadra.
So it's a Quadra. That's an interesting one. I imagine some players going for different kind of spams, going on top of the truck, as you mentioned earlier on as well. If a player were to have gone out Z towards highway there, that was a free kill. So they used those AWPs early on to just watch some of the quick angles, go for some spams. Nothing does happen. Cirque has another AWP as well. He's had it pretty much every round, it feels like, in the second half. But again, it's that CT side. He's not being able to do much. Isn't being allowed to abuse that capability he does have of being so aggressive and finding the angles when needed. It's
kind of like that trade-off we see with Electronic, where T-side, outrageous. CT side, sometimes it comes and goes, but the play coming in, the B site, is where they'll be providing all their ordnance towards. Fugly doesn't realize they're in the backline, but Fur goes in for both of the Molotovs. He's been burnt to a crisp by Fallen, Ben. He's out in seconds. Already it comes back into a 4v4 through no fault of NRG there, really.
So this retake's going to be absolutely huge. Cirque, full grenades. Ethan has a Molotov as well. Daps a Molotov as well. So you can burn that site to a crisp if you want to from heaven here, which it looks like they're planning to do. Smoke going in towards Checkers. They're getting ready for these Molotovs, though. They need to land them perfectly.
The site should be entirely set ablaze, but it's only a small portion, Ben, and they're pushing in one by one as well. They're not working together here as a squad. Ethan, but down to 35 HP. This is a horrible spot to be in. Overtime is secured. MIBR, they bring it back round after round. They slog through it. The full 30 rounds have been played, and this is where we get down to the crunch. The first overtime we've seen here on the B stream for IEM Chicago. And what better game could we ask for, really? MIBR versus NRG here. This is a close affair. The scary factor is MIBR now have an opportunity to win again.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? It's just to think that NRG, they used one pause through that entire situation. It was 15-7 at one point. Surely you use a pause, whether it's 3 rounds into slowly losing your lead, or 4. Instead, they use it at such a late point. They lose B site, use a Fugly dying, and MIBR gave them a chance as well. Third dies to Fallen's Molotov. And yet, for some reason, that retake, they were willing to play it, but the retake itself did not look good.
And that's the worrying potential there. With I'm a Pet being unavailable, were they not certain whether or not they should have gone for those pauses if they needed to try and take that time out? Tunnel visioned in, potentially, thinking we're going to win this game. Just keep going. It's fine. We've got 15 rounds. We can win. Cirque, the first time we've seen him try and go for an aggressive pick there, but it falls short. Fallen as well, finds the flick up, takes down Daps. You might have gone for the boost, but Fallen doesn't give a damn how tall you are. He'll still bust open your head.
And Fugly's trying to make the play as well. The smoke's going to fade. He'll get that free kill, but I can't feel like coldzera trades this. So easy for him to find it. Ethan all on his lonesome, 1v4. Purely off the back of Fallen, though. He's ready for that push from Cirque. And that's the first time we've seen him go aggressive as well on the CT side. And that round is not a good start to overtime for them.
So awkward to see, because already NRG, they've shown their hand. They've gone, Cirque, try and play more aggressive. Go into what we expected to see. We spoke about that, how CT side, he's a lot quieter. He isn't that aggressive playmaker. He's not going to try and just burst out. First time he's done it, instantly silenced. Fallen as well, not content with one. Keeps on going. It's scary stuff. Daps as well, feeling the need to continuously bring out the org now. This is worrying then. MIBR, they've got themselves that 16 round. If you think about how many rounds they've now got on the trot here compared to NRG, it's absolutely ridiculous. Their T side has been flawless.
And they have switched up the way they normally play here as well. So previously we saw Ethan always towards the A site. He was always that lone player there. Cirque's now warping it. Ethan now towards B with Fugly playing the rotate for B. Can't be feel like that's just them thinking the B side's been a weakness for us. And that's very worrying if you're having to do that in overtime. Potentially a bit too late as well. And Stewie, he's been a constant nuisance in this door as well. The Molotov, unfortunately, just as Stewie closed the door, which forces Cirque off the angle. That's a really, I mean, we'd like to think that Stewie did that intentionally, but I don't think it was at all.
I feel like that was just the timing, but he'll probably take it. He'll add that one to his repertoire. Oh, the trade comes through early on, so it's actually the first pick there for Ethan, as he'll be able to find the frag on coldzera. I mean, they didn't have to give the game away as well and show that Fugly is stuck in towards the vent right now. Fallen will grab the bomb and really come up with the rest of the teammates here.
So they haven't actually mollied out the vents yet either. They know it's broken from the mid side, but they've not cleared it at all. Fugly, he could be absolutely huge here. The flash goes gone, but Tarek turns straight around and takes him out.
The snapshot with the neck breaker from Tarek. Stewie with the play towards the B site needs to try and keep them focused towards him, because meanwhile at mid they're being bombarded. The nades have come through, essentially hit by an airstrike, Ben, and they are very low. Fallen still able to make this work though, finds the frag in a 1v1 now versus Cirque, unless the peek comes around from Daps, which it will, and he gets the spray down, eliminates Fallen. Ethan will pick off Tarek as well. They equalize it once more, 16-16, but it has taken so long for NRG to finally win a round on their CT side.
I think that's the first CT win in 12 rounds, which that's absurd in itself. Like, that's a crazy situation to be in. You should not ever be in that situation anyway. And ultimately that round was won off of Cirque having that AWP towards A, and as well as that, Ethan being moved towards that B site. He was a surprise, they didn't expect to find him there. So a much better call from NRG's CT side. The question is, will they be able to pick it up further though and get this second, or the final round, I guess, in this overtime half? Fugly picking up the AWP is a different one as well. We've not seen any other NRG player pick it up. So quite unusual to see him go for it.
Oh, I was close to actually spotting falling out as well, as they did push in towards connector early on into this round. It's a minute and 20 seconds on the clock, and you can see NRG are actively willing to now try and switch things up. They've had to throw the default strategy towards the wind, really, in overtime, because it's not working for them.
And that's the scary thing, really, that the regular way they're playing is now no longer working. They have to resort to things which they may not have practiced as much. MIBR take mid-control. Clear it out fully. It's just Breezy there, but he's playing towards Z. Not really giving them a chance of actually getting a pick at all here. Cirque, he's actually going to get smoked off of mid due to that smoke landing there. So they think it might be an A execute there. Ethan, he was an A main. He still should have control of that. But that's a really nice kill found.
Hear the power behind that one, as Brezda will be able to rip the head off of Tarek's, which comes in towards the B side though now. Fallen, looking in, scoped in, finds another headshot. He has been the decapitation king into this matchup. Brezda as well rotates back around, and the three players are fully going to commit to this. coldzera found the first, but was traded back by Ethan. Stewie's now arrived to assist his in-game leader. And Brezda playing from the site. What can he get up to? It does not matter. It'll be Ethan and Cirque that close it down. And that is going to be the advantage to NRG at the half. They won 2 rounds, and MIBR win 1.
And that's the awkward bit though, so consider how technically the halves in regulation were going 10-5 to the T side. Technically that should mean you should lose the overtime half 2-1 if you're on the CT side. However, NRG, they finally get some rounds on the board. A bit too late, though. They have to win this now in overtime. They need 2 rounds from their T-half. And the worrying bit is, you're now facing an MIBR side who have money. You consider how that first half looked, they were never able to get a real buy-in. And you can tell the difference now, 2 AWPs being available to them.
And that's what's crazy. That's the difference maker. Interestingly enough, it will be Fallen and Tarek that bring them to the table. We've essentially seen the entire roster today rotate the AWP out. You never really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, the only man who decides fully against it usually would be Fur. Purely because he is an absolute crazy man when it comes to using a rifle. But they are going to send an AWPer towards each site here. Going to give up mid. If you remember in the first half, Ethan, he was absolutely crazily good in that first half from the boost. He was able to do so much, whether it was actually just map control or even picks. And this is probably why MIBR have shifted away from playing towards middle, just full stop. So Ethan's using his full set of grenades to try and clear some angles. Will be dropping out as well. Cirque with a rifle, which is quite interesting to see Daps actually taking the AWP.
Talking about utilities you touched on as well, Ben. There is a stark contrast forming into this round already. NRG have pretty happily committed to using a lot of their utility into the early game of the round here, whereas for MIBR, they have 4 smokes left. They're into a good position. They still have a ton of utility. So they can quite happily run this clock down, even at the last second here. And NRG, they're looking like they're going to go for a late round site take towards B. This is worrisome.
That's 2 B players who have their Molotovs. So Tarek just used his. coldzera uses his as well. They're trying to swamp them in. The flash should come through any second now from Tarek. Here it comes. That's a huge pick, but only the one found.
Able to find that first frag, but there's an instant trade back from Fugly Ben, but Tarek on the site. He's got an AWP and he knows how to wield it like a lunatic. Finds the first, won't need to do any more. Stewie arrives on the scene and does the damage for him. Rips both of their heads off and leaves them laid out on the ground. 17-17. This game is as close as it can get.
We saw in the first half as well, when Tarek finally got the AWP towards B, he found 3 kills. He does it again. He does really well. He's had a solid game so far. Him and coldzera doing so much work towards that B site. And I really liked that take because they knew exactly what they wanted to do with their grenades that they had left. Molotov both sides of it. As soon as they're about to run out, flash into checkers, get the kill. So Cirque now goes back to his AWP. But this actually is going to be a B rush.
They're just going for it, Ben. They're bounding their way in. coldzera is able to stay alive because Tarek helps him out with the AWP once again, and they are just slaughtering them. Everyone has been assassinated. This is awful. The no-scope as well from Tarek. Not only is he denying them entry, but he is doing it with such finesse. He looks damn good at it. Cirque, a cheeky flick, but can't get the follow-up. Bunny hopped out of there, but goes straight to his grave. coldzera sets him up on a date with the coroner, and that is going to be 18-17. MIBR from a position to lose this second map and have to play train. They are now moments away from potentially winning it and locking down the series 2-0, Ben. A triumphant comeback and a tenacious defense the entire way.
I just don't understand why you rush B. I was just giving compliments to coldzera and Tarek for their B hold. Yet for some reason you go straight into B. No flashes even. Tarek covers coldzera. And now they're going for a straight A execute. Lots of smokes used very early on here. Ethan, the only man who'll be going via mid. Look at the rotation for MIBR though. If this was a fake towards B, it could be bad news, and that it is. Tarek, he's already playing from CT.
Tarek, he's been a monster, but surely you can only have those performances a few rounds. He can't keep this up. Cirque as well starts to get confidence again. Gets the early entry pick. coldzera's shut down. Sure, it might be a 4-man retake, but any retake towards this B site is going to be a struggle. NRG, they're in position to try force this out at least to a double overtime now. The utility is going to be cast out. They're going to just bound their way in. They're playing with confidence. They barely bypassed Ethan, but eventually, once the flashbang fades, they should close it down. 18-18, double overtime will keep us going here.
That's absolutely crazy, though. The fake of the take, though, and it's such an aggressive take as well. You do it basically from spawn. And it pulled all of those MIBR players. You can see 2 of them moving straight away. Tarek, he was the only one who held his position. But if he's on the site, you might be thinking he could hold that site down himself. Like, the difference between him being in CT and him being on site is absolutely crazy. It means we're forcing that double overtime. The double AWP comes straight back out from MIBR. As expected, really. Tarek has been so good with it. Fallen gets his own as well. NRG, they get a second chance here. because they were facing elimination just then.
The thing that I'm worried about, Ben, is Cirque's health. If he keeps flicking like this, he is going to need some kind of assistment because he will get RSI.
Definitely. His wrists must be taking a beat.
He flicks like a lunatic constantly. He's absolutely wild. Fugly going to get the early entry, though. Takes down Tarek to at least open up the round, Ben. And here comes the burst from behind. They would expect it. They're caught trying to go for the boost as they will start to frag out Fur. Going to find the double kill, but Ethan starts to make a mockery out of them. The miss from Fallen as well. He's been so flawless, but into this round, misses the shot. No opportunity. And it will slide away from them. The initial round going to NRG. Now, if you remember, in regulation on the first half, NRG, they looked great when it came to their T side, but most of that was down to Ethan.
It's kind of crazy to think the odds are like that for a game like this.
They've been in favor of MRB the whole time.
It's so weird.
It doesn't feel like it should have been.
Definitely should have been, at least with a comeback. But I suppose if there was a comeback made into overtime, momentum should be them, and they're good for a fast mid here. Fugly straight out.
Oh, Fugly giving it, Ben. He doesn't give a damn. He's just ripping heads off all over the shop.
That's a really strong start to the round right there.
Oh, he's killed himself, though.
Daps has killed him.
Oh, you know what, Fugly? I mean, fair play, man. You were sick with the AK, but we'll let that one slide.
That's such a weird one. 3v4 now. And they're pushing towards the site. Stewie's so low, and he actually can still get to kill and damage. This is still winnable. Tarek and Cold Zero have been so good so far.
Oh, Cirque as well. It might be a sliver of you he sees, but he'll still take you down, as he is one hell of an AWPer there, Ben. The Bulgarian Bulldozer proving why he's so influential. 35 frags to his name. The showstopper for NRG.
And MIBR, they finally hit the bottom of the bank, it seems. You know, it's very rare we see 3 rounds go towards the T side. If you win the first 2, chances are you see the difference in the money, especially when you go for 2 AWPs consistently. MIBR, they need this round, I feel. The CT side was a weakness originally in regulation. The question is, what will NRG do, though? They started this back with this high-tempo play, and it was working for them. But again, Tarek, he's now playing again on that site, and that's another smoke kill. It's really not been good for MIBR when it comes to these smokes and spams.
This is rough. It's an awkward start. It's also huge for NRG, though. If they take the half 21-18, Ben, 1 round's all you need. You'll have the 3 match points to play with, and Tarek also taking damage from the Molotov towards the site. Less than favorable from the angle that he is in, and Fugly just charges through. He might have been burnt out, but he's still feeling himself though with the aggression here. Finds 1 frag. Luckily, the backstab from Bresley will eliminate him. It's a 4 versus 2. Fallen will fall out of favor there. Cold Zero goes down as well. 21-18. NRG, they bring it back massively. They have a firm grasp on the game now, but we have seen this exact position once before. NRG, they were sat on 15 rounds for so long, and they physically could not shut it down on their CT side. However, the fact here is there is no opportunity to reset them. They will have cash on each and every one of these rounds. MIBR, they need to do what they did before once more.
The crazy thing about that round was, so the Molotov came in, we saw it from Tarek's point of view. He threw the Molotov towards B main. That was fine. But then he actually pulled out a HE grenade instead of smoke. So that extra, 2 seconds, say, the fact that he's actually dropped a HE on his own feet instead of the smoke, which meant he was not ready for the player to be pushing straight towards headshot. He gets killed. And the round from there just falls apart completely. We saw Fur, he tried to rescue the round just leaping out of the vents, just spraying everyone. But ultimately, he only gets the 1 kill. It just wasn't enough.
And that's the scary factor, right? It's gone from MIBR looking like they've had this life sapped out of them to riding the biggest confidence high you've ever seen to now just forced into desperation plays and having to try and scrape something together. Tarek once again trying to open it up with that spam. This time, no damage transferred.
And Cirque looking to find an opening here. Although he's holding more of an off angle, getting ready to take it with Ethan. So that's A main once again taken. So we saw NRG do this a few times in regulation and overtime. However, it didn't really benefit them too much when they did take it. What I do like, though, is the 2 players towards B from NRG here. The player in the vent, he He was not actually seen, but the double Molotov, that's an easy kill. That's really well played from MIBR there. And it's actually just Daps left on the site. If they were to burst in, look at the rotation. NRG, they've gambled everybody towards it.
The entire rotate's come around, Ben. Tarek, as soon as the smoke fades, he needs to start to make some ground here because there's only so much time. They're going to stay grouped up with all the players towards the B site like this. Cirque going to rotate back around, and this is scary. MIBR still not fully committed towards the site take, but NRG are going to be second-guessing themselves.
Especially now as they have to go back onto the site and hopefully regain control. Breezy, look how aggressive he's being.
Oh.
Ferg gets the trade, so it means they're still a man up. But Ethan, the Molotov into A main steps will delay things. That bomb is stuck outside. Tarek was there. The fact they've had these grenades so late on, it means MIBR, they need to land every shot as soon as possible.
Ethan with the spray, Ben, the pre-fire. Absolutely fantastic, Ethan. He was tremendous in the game. He has been keeping that going this entire time. 8 seconds left into the round. Ethan will eliminate Fallen. Cirque for the final frag. Finally, they pick it up. NRG will win cash 22-18 after a slobber knocker of a matchup. We'll break this one down after the break. We need a rest.